This is Tigress 315 Radio. We're bringing you some of the hottest music on the internet, from mainstream, old school to indie artists. We need your support. Press that follow button, press that like button, share with a friend, catch the vibe with us. All right, everyone, welcome to Tigress 315 Radio, the flavor. Tonight, I have a special guest with me that I'm going to bring on in just a minute, Mr. Wade Long. And I want to thank everyone who is tuning in to join us tonight and helping us, promote independent artists and their music and everything else good that's going on in their life. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my special guest tonight, Mr. Wade C. Long.
Thanks for having me. How you doing?
I am well. How are you today?
Doing well. Thank you.
Okay. So have you been keeping busy, with all the after effects of COVID and, life, inflation, everything?
Yeah, I have. Life doesn't stop, that's for sure. And definitely trying to reacclimate post-COVID life. All of that stuff keeps me busy and keeps me creative. So yeah, definitely been moving on.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So we're just going to start off today, to let everybody know a little bit about you. We're just going to start off with, just tell us a little bit about where you were born and raised.
Oh yeah, I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I remind people it's the birthplace of rock and roll and rich music heritage that is there. Born and raised, was there for the first part of my adult life, and then eventually made the move out here to LA, where I've been ever since.
Oh, okay. All right. So at what age let's get into your music. At what age did you start, did you start off singing, or playing instruments, or how did music come into your life?
I started off playing and singing probably around the same time, but I think my mom always says I was 3 when she knew that I could do music professionally. So I used to walk around the house singing, and then she remembers me walking across the street from my elementary school singing from the bottom of my lungs, and not realizing that I was doing it myself, but she says the way I projected myself and how well I sounded, she knew I could be great at it. And then also, my grandmother was my first piano teacher when I was about 5. So all of that kind of came into play around the same time.
Okay. Now, did you sing in church choirs?
Definitely sang youth choirs, school choirs. As I got older, sang in some adult choirs, played piano and keyboards for some youth choirs and for some adult choirs. I actually was a minister of music for a short period of time. So yeah, definitely had a lot of my experience in the church.
Okay. Now, what about, did you start any singing groups or anything with any of your friends?
I had a couple very short-lived groups. It's funny. I find that a lot of times in groups, different people are at different levels of dedication. And so, where I take everything seriously and probably too seriously sometimes, I would end up in groups with people who, especially when I was younger, wanted to spend a lot of time hanging out and doing other stuff that didn't really have to do with music. In hindsight, I probably should have done a little bit more of that, but they probably should have done a little bit more of the music side too. So nothing really that stuck very long, but there was definitely a couple of times when I formed a group and we did some performing and whatnot.
Okay. So once you started, when you decided to take music, like I wouldn't say more seriously, but you wanted to really like push it out there, what was like the first big project that you worked on?
First big project that I worked on would have been, I did a lot of writing for groups. It kind of all started around the same time for some of the local acts that were in Cleveland. So I can't really put my finger right now on which one would have been first. But there were several groups in Cleveland that I wrote for and several acts. None of them were actually able to go very far, but one of them actually did so well that they caught the eye of a major label out here in LA, and they wanted to sign myself and my music partner at the time, which is how I ended up coming out to LA. We were having to travel back and forth all the time, and it got crazy. And eventually we just said, let's move out here. But when we moved out here, it kind of fell through. But at the same time, the deal that we had on the table kind of fell through. But at the same time, I had fallen in love with LA, so I just decided to stay here.
Okay. So do you feel that was a good move for you to move to LA? Did it like open up more doors for you once you were moved down there?
Yeah, definitely. I would say it opened more doors. And really the biggest thing it did for me is being part of a creative culture. In Cleveland, we had lots of talent, but there were just pockets of people making music or doing their art. In LA, at least half the people here are involved in some type of art. And so it provided me with that community and being around other people with like goals and who are common goals and the ability to network and just kind of connect with other people who were trying to do the same things that I was.
Okay. That is good to hear. So what about, who are some of your musical influences? So what are like, I know you probably don't have just one, but who are like the top 3 artists that really inspire you?
Luther Vandross. I think he's untouchable. I don't think he'll ever will be touched. In class, yeah. I don't even try it. A couple people have tried to suggest that I sound similar to him. I'm like, don't start. But Luther's on his own Mount Rushmore. But then I'm inspired by a lot of the older composers. Frederick Chopin is probably my favorite composer, and I know that's going a couple of centuries back, but that's my guy. I just like the way he composed music. And then more recently, Thelonious Monk. I say recently, of course he's been gone for several decades, but Thelonious Monk, jazz composer and pianist. I just love the way he kind of went. He kind of made music his own way and didn't seem to really care what people thought about it. And even though it sounded a lot different from a lot of other artists and a lot of other composers, he just did his own thing. And I've always respected that and kind of tried to follow somewhat in that same vein.
Yeah, see, I love artists that do things like that. They want to be different. They don't want to sound like the same people. It makes their music stand out. Yeah.
Right, right. I mean, a lot of times, just because of commercialism, and I think we all want to get airplay, and we all want to kind of fit in to be able, everyone wants to, for the most part, wants to make money, at least to try to recoup what we put in as independent artists.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's hard to tell the line between creativity and enough commercialism to be able to fit inside the lines of what'll get airplay. But I think I think there's a way of doing it. I don't think I've really keyed in on the exact way of doing it, but I think there's a way to be creative and to still meet the needs of to be creative without going too far out that you lose people. I think there's a way of doing
Mhm.
that, even though probably now is you get away with it more back in the day, but I still think there's a way of doing that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. I had one more question for you about that. I'll come back to that. So I do want to get into your so you do have some recent projects that you worked on, correct?
Yes, I have a brand new album that just dropped yesterday. It's called A Long Story. It's my second LP, my second full-length album. Really, really excited about it. I have some
Mhm.
collaborations. Uh, Current single is Celebrate You, featuring the lovely Hill Street Soul. And I have another tune that's called Trends Jam that features um, Billboard chart topping basis, Mr. Christian Damasonis. So I'm really excited about this project, and I really hope it does well for me.
Okay, so tell me a little bit what brought this project about.
um, Coming off the heels of my first LP, Nostalgia, and it was 2020, I wanted to follow up the next year just to kind of keep things going. But whenever I would come to where I thought I was finished, it never really met the level that I wanted it to meet. And so it kind of drug itself out a little bit, and that's when I started calling it A Long Story.
Hmm.
To kind of a play off my name, and I was like, it's taking so long, so let's just call it A Long Story.
Yeah, yeah, that does fit with your name too.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I like to once in a while I like to make plays on words and things with projects that I do. So
Okay. Now, so if you had the opportunity to work with like any music artist, I'm gonna give you three. I always keep saying three. So if you had the opportunity right now to do some collabs with three different artists, what artist would that be?
that's yeah. For the most part, that's easy. This third one is like a 10-way tie though. But the first one is definitely Layla Hathaway, and Layla is aware that I would like to work with her. I tried to. Uh, I tried to get her involved in this project, but she was on tour at the time, so
Mm.
she couldn't. Yeah, and Amel LaRue, who is my very favorite singer, I would love to be able to collab. I'm sure she is aware too because I've been putting the word out and trying to connect with her for several years. So she's the second one. I think the third one, I have always appreciated the production of Timbaland. I would love to be
Mm.
able to just kind of get some wisdom from him and kind of figure out what our two minds might be able to mesh together and come up with.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, kind of
Okay.
diverse eyes. I'm
Mhm.
all over the place, obviously, with the people who I.
Well, that's a good thing, though. That's a good thing to be diverse. And so, what if like a country singer came across and wanted to collab? Would you be ready to work with a country singer?
Yeah, I was funny. I was talking to a friend a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, because I'm noticing what's being dubbed as black country is on the rise. And a
Mhm.
friend of mine and I was talking about that, and they asked me, do I think I'd ever do a black country album? And I said, probably not an album. And I said, but probably a song. So
Mhm.
whether that happens with something that I compose, or there is an artist, a country artist that just uh, wants to collaborate with me on something on their project, I could definitely see myself doing that.
Okay. Yeah, it is on the rise. I'm shocked too, but I wasn't really that much of a fan of country music like years ago, but it's like I've
Right.
started to really listen to some and I'm like, wow,
Starting to
okay,
grow on me as well.
even country rap. I'm like, oh, I didn't know they was doing this over here. Like, it's like
Right,
for a while I
right,
just ignored the whole country part. I was like, okay, they having fun over
right,
here. They're getting the message across. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it is
right.
on the
Like
rise.
back in the day, I thought Bubba Sparks was a one-off, but no, apparently he was just the beginning of a of a genre, and now there's a
Yeah.
lot of people doing it.
Mhm.
It's always great to see
Yeah.
different types of music forming. I was talking to somebody else earlier, and I was like, music is one family. I'm not the biggest fan of genres. I understand the reason we have to label under genres. I get it, but it's not my
Mhm.
favorite thing. Music
Yeah.
is one big family with just different branches of styles, but it all comes together. So I love it when different people of different types of styles get together and collab. It's a really great thing.
Yeah, I agree. I've always been a fan of collab songs. Like I may have, and I don't have like one artist that I like a variety of music, a variety of just everything like across. So, but when I see people collab, I just love collabs for some reason. It's just like the merging of two talents. I've always
Yeah.
loved that. Yeah.
No, it's really great. And obviously I'm a big fan of them with the songs that are on my album. But yeah, it's just
Mhm.
two different minds coming together and colliding. It just kind of makes for a beautiful thing a lot of times.
Mhm. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have my question now. So we talk about, I know being an independent artist, I know it's hard because I'm one myself and just doing things yourself. Sometimes it does seem like you have to put in twice the work of regular, a mainstream artist. And so, what do you think are some of the struggles that you faced when you first started trying to get yourself out there?
Oh wow, where do I begin? Funding. Let's start
Mhm.
there. Nothing is free. Um, and if you want to put out a quality project, it's hard to do without a budget of some type. Just manpower. I think if you look at the different functions in a record label, just and really just not even a label, just what it takes to make one artist successful, from management to production to um, A&R to writing if they're not a writer themselves, to
Mhm.
mixing, to mastering, to all of these different marketing, promo, all of these different functions. It just takes a lot of energy, and I think anybody who is trying to step into this as an independent artist needs to make sure that they are in a place where they will mentally be able to handle all of those different things, and then make sure you're in a place where you are okay with having to educate yourself on all of those different things, because they truly are jobs unto themselves. There's just so much, and I think a lot of times when people get involved in this, they see the finished product and they think it's, simple, but there's so much involved that you deserve yourself to educate yourself on, just so that you meet the value of your own art. You want to be able to support that the best way you can. So many layers to that. It's really endless, if you ask me.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, it's like when you're an independent artist, you're wearing all the hats yourself.
All
So
of
it's
them.
like you gotta, you wearing them all yourself, and you gotta just try to stay on top of everything yourself. And yeah, it's not easy, but if you do it because you love it,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it's worth it. It's just worth it because you love it. And it's like you're pushing yourself, your own sweat and tears, everything you got to go through to do it.
Right.
And in the end, it's all worth it.
And time management is a thing too, because with all those hats, you can't wear them all at the same time. You got to know which ones to wear when, and when to switch off. And then those few times where maybe you do need to wear one or two of them at the same time. But you got to be ready for all of that. And I just think there's so much more involved than meets the eye until you actually step in. So, I mean, you didn't exactly ask this, but anybody who's considering doing this, just be ready. You are basically, and it's not basically, it's exactly, you're going into business. And so understand that you are going into business and you are going to need to dedicate capital and time and energy just like any other business, and maybe even a little bit more.
Exactly. And I think social media is helping a lot more artists get out there. Like that part to me, not saying that's easy, but that is the easier part, to get on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram and get seen. But it's like that stuff behind the scene, like they can hear you, but when it comes down to all the stuff you mentioned before, like they don't know about that part. Like they want somebody to hear them sing. Okay, so they hear you sing. So what about production, marketing, all of that other stuff? It's not just, I think some people are just stuck on just, they want somebody to get noticed on social media or whatever, but behind the scene, there's so much more to that. Like you got to put some more work in, because you could have a one-hit wonder, so you got to keep it going.
You stepped on a landmine there, to be honest, because there is so much. First of all, the percentage of anything that you put on social media reaching a level of virality that it would need to be able to help you on the level that you would need to is very small. And I'm talking great stuff, great content. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen just because the content is great. Like that's not how it works. You can follow all the rules, the hashtags, the right time of day, anything, all the rules that help things on social media do well, and still not get there just because everyone is doing it. So there always has to be something else. You can't rely just on social media, and you can't rely on you being the one doing it yourself. It just doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Exactly. Well said. Okay. All right. Well, I think I've touched on. Well, wait, no, one more thing. So you did send me a few songs that I will play, after the interview, and I just had a question about a few of them. Just so, I mean, these were part of your project. The song called "Celebrate You."
Yeah, that's the current single off A Long Story. So that's A Long Story.
Okay.
That's
Okay, and She's Not Mine.
Yep, that's going to be another single off the album.
Okay. All right. Okay, so where can your fans find your music?
You can find me on all the major platforms, and then you can I'll always be posting about them on my socials, which I can be found pretty much everywhere at Wade C. Long, just like it sounds, WADECLONG. That's my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm pretty sure even my YouTube is under that now. So pretty easy to find. And yeah, I'm on my new project, and even my former projects are on all the platforms out there.
Okay. All right. So I think I've summed up. Well, I won't put you on the spot this time. Maybe I'll bring you back for another, because sometimes I usually have singers, do something a cappella, so we can know it's real, but I won't put you on the spot.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not. You need to be warm up.
I won't have you go me. The moment. That's okay.
Yeah,
next time I'll get.
I don't get away with it without it next time, though. Okay, I'll be ready.
You've been warned.
I guess I have.
All right. So, is there anything else that you would like to say to, like any upcoming artists, to your fans? Anything else you would like to say before we're done?
No, just thank you for those of you who have supported the project already. I really appreciate that. And please, if you haven't, get on your favorite platform, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. Take a listen, and if you feel so inclined, I would love it if you would take the time to support the project.
Most definitely. Well, I'm definitely going to be promoting your music on Tiger 315 Radio. And I do thank you for coming to have this interview and let us find out more about you. Because my thing, how I started doing this, the interview portion of my network is, some artists, they don't get to talk about themselves. And, it's one thing to just post somebody's song, but, like, at least find out a little background about them. Everybody has a different story, So I'm glad I was able to have you on here, for you to share with us today.
Hey, I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Okay, well, you are welcome. Well, I want to thank you all for tuning in, and just stay tuned. I will be playing some of Mr. Wade C. Long's music, and everybody just stay safe. And it's the beginning of a new year. Go hard this year. We've had a hard, rough past couple of years. This is something that affected everybody. So let's just stay safe.
Hey.
And have a blessed year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will be in touch with you soon, Mr. Long, and you have a great day.
All right. Appreciate you. You have a good one.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
I want to celebrate you. I want to take some time. Want to elevate you just because you're mine. 'Cause it's my pleasure to show you my love. Let you know you're the one I'm thinking of, my baby.
I want to be your hero, be a champion. Your lover, your friend, I'll be your number one. You're the one I treasure, who my heart adores. And I'm so proud to be the one that you call yours.
Can you believe it, that we made it this far? So far, my love. I'll live life again just to share it with you and to spend my life with you.
Celebrate you, take some time. Celebrate you, 'cause you're mine. I want wanna coronate you, 'cause you're my queen, the most beautiful woman a man has ever seen.
I wanna take a vow to not just love you now, but to have you and hold you as long as you allow.
Now can you believe it, that we made it this far, so far, my love. I'll sail the widest seas just to be with you and to share my life with you, baby.
Celebrate you, take some time, celebrate you, 'cause you're mine. Celebrate you, one and night.
I wanna celebrate
you and all the time. Just wanna celebrate you. Just wanna celebrate you, my love, my love. Just wanna celebrate you, my love. Just wanna celebrate you. Celebrate. Just wanna celebrate you, my love, my love. Just wanna celebrate you, my love.
Now can you believe it, that we've made it this far, so far, my love.
I'll do it all again just to be with you and to share my love with you.
Celebrate you,
Celebrate you.
some time. Celebrate you, 'cause you're mine. Celebrate you, one and night.
We gotta
Celebrate you all the time. I wanna celebrate you. Well, can hardly wait till I see her again. She's less than a lover, but more than a friend. The time we spend is a treasure to me. It's like it never ends. So much pleasure to me, and she got a way of making me feel complete whenever we meet. And I can't deny, I wish there was no one else between her and I. Oh, she's not mine, but I love her. Can't stop thinking of her. And oh, she's not mine. She's not. I adore her. Do anything for her. Ooh, yeah, yeah. She lays her head on my shoulder to cry. Whenever she feels sad on me, she relies. She tells me she I'm feeling inside. No, I can't fight this feeling inside. No, I can't hide the way I'm feeling tonight. No, I can't fight this feeling inside. No, I can't hide the way I'm feeling inside. No, I can't fight this feeling inside.
Everybody.
This is Tigress 315 Radio. Come catch the vibe with us. We are bringing you a variety of music from old school to mainstream to indie music artists. Tune in, follow us daily, catch the vibe.
It's getting harder to ignore you in the way you turn me on. Before much more, I might adore you. So I thought I'd sing this song. Something about you so amazing, and you brighten up my day. Woman, you got me going crazy in a very special way. I like, girl, I like the way, shown up like the way you grew. Talking about the things you do. Girl, I like the way, shown up like the way you grew. And I like the way you, my baby. Lady, you're nothing like others. Got your own thing going on. The kind I might take home to mother. Down to earth to have some fun. Oh, more than your looks, I gotta tell you. It's your personality. Give me a chance and I won't fail you. From now on, it's you and me. Girl, I like the way, shown up like the way you grew. Talking about the things you do. Girl, I like the way, shown up like the way you grew. And I like the way you, my baby. I like the way you miss me when I'm out on the road. And I like the way you kiss me, like my lips are ready to go. Baby, I like the way you carefree, like I walk out in the rain. And I like the way you there for me, whenever I call out your name. And I like the way you feel. What you see is what you get. And I like the way I feel. So excited. Yeah. Baby, I like it. Girl, I like it. Mama, I like it. Sure, I like it. Like it, I like it. I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it. Girl, I like the way, shown up
You know